Good afternoon. My name is Nneoma and I am the Knowledge Management Officer at the Nigeria Hub of the Challenge Initiative. Today, I'll be talking to you about how TCI Nigeria reveals learning opportunities. Specifically, I'll be talking to you about how we at TCI Nigeria agree on and prioritize our learning questions. Why is it important to have learning questions? Learning questions help you direct your learning. They provide a direction for your learning. Before you know where you are going to, it is important to know where you're coming from. Having learning questions help you understand where you are coming from. Typically, as projects, we have a lot of data and information coming in from the field. We have a lot of anecdotal data. We have a lot of reports, and we have a lot of survey-related data. When you have learning questions, they help you narrow in on what is important, and they help you sieve out what is not important. And when you are able to narrow in on what is important, you use the information that you glean to inform your programming. Learning questions can help you learn lessons that can influence your theory of change. Most projects are predicated on a theory of change. The answers that you get to your learning questions may help you prove your theory of change, disprove your theory of change, or modify your theory of change. Answers to learning questions can help you measure your progress with achieving your program objectives. Learning questions are relevant because they can help you find out if you're meeting your program goals or your project or your program objectives. They can also point out if you are not meeting these program objectives, reasons why you are not meeting these program objectives, and give you information that can help you replan to meet your set objectives. At TCI Nigeria, one of our learning questions is to find out the correlation between diffusion of TCI high impact interventions and sustainability. This particular learning question is aimed at helping us realize at TCI Nigeria if our high impact interventions are sustainable and the relationship between the sustainability of these high impact interventions and diffusion of these high interventions in the states. And we have found that when state governments adopt our high impact interventions and diffuse them to other local government areas where TCI does not demonstrate this high impact intervention, it means that these states are willing to adopt these high impact interventions, and that post TCI's program implementation, these interventions will be sustainable. If you do not have learning questions, there are problems that you may face. You may run the risk of implementing strategies that have not been proven to work, implementing strategies that are ineffective because you do not have learning questions and you do not have any way of finding out if these strategies are working or if they are not working. You may also run the risk of spending scarce resources on these strategies that are ineffective simply because you have not learned that these strategies do not work. What makes prioritization of learning questions difficult? Project complexity is a key factor that makes prioritization of learning questions difficult. Where a project is complex or multifaceted, it may be difficult to highlight what people should be learning, what should form learning in that project. It may be difficult to outline one particular topic to be learning from. Also, when a project is being implemented in a fast-changing environment like the Nigerian environment, the answers that you may get to your learning questions may be skewed or may be different from the answers that you could typically get simply because the environment has changed. Also, there is an infinite number of potential study teams and there are different learning questions to address these different study teams. It is difficult to select what is important from all these infinite number of teams. Again, different stakeholders may be interested in different study teams because the number is infinite. Different stakeholders might be interested in different potential areas of study, and this division in interest might make it difficult for people to outline what is important, what is not important, or even agree on what we should be learning as a project. The donors may have their own idea of what a project should be learning. The project team itself should have a different idea, may have a different idea of what they should be learning. And maybe the government where you're doing your implementation may have a different idea of what they as government want to be learning and need your support to learn from. How did we at TCI, despite all these challenges, how did we at TCI effectively agree on and prioritize our learning opportunities? Continuous engagement with stakeholders is a key aspect of this. We engage with our donors, we find out what they think we should be learning. We engage among ourselves as a team and discuss what we think we should be learning. We even talk to our state counterparts, our counterparts in government, and ask them what are the emerging issues, what are the trends, what are the things that you consider important. And then we sit down and prioritize what we should be learning based on the interests of our stakeholders. Again, we prioritize learning questions that can help us determine if we're making progress with our program objectives. We also prioritize learning questions that can help us either support our theory of change, disprove our theory of change, or even modify our theory of change. We also prioritize learning questions that can help us, agree on emerging issues or maybe identify key challenges. What is our model for developing learning questions? At TCI, our learning questions are generated from our theory of change and from our program objectives. Following on the generation of our learning questions, feedback from the field, data from the field provides answers to our learning questions, and the answers to our learning questions help us either modify our theory of change or modify our program objectives. So it is a learning. Our learning questions are derived from our theory of change and program objectives, and feedback from the field help us modify our learning questions, and the responses to our learning questions also help us agree on and prioritize or modify our theory of change or our program objectives. What are the lessons that other partners may learn from TCI on how to review learning opportunities? You can derive your learning opportunities from your program objectives. We have done this at TCI. You can look at your program objectives and decide what you should prioritize as learning questions based on those program objectives. You can also review data from the field, including periodic reports, most significant change stories, routine data, and triangulate them to find out what are the emerging issues, what are the trends, and this can help you find out what you should be learning as an organization. Finally, at TCI, we conduct pause and reflect exercises. These pause and reflect exercises are aimed at helping us sit down as a team to identify what we should be questioning, what we should be studying, and what we should be learning. Thank you very much for listening to my presentation.